Hello, today we're going to be working up these sweet little bookmarks. As you can see, there's a cable design on them, but bookmarks are a great way to practice the stitches that you need in bigger cable projects. And they don't require much yarn, so you can use what's in your stash. You don't need anything specific. You can use any fibre, but if you're new to cables, I would tend to stick with cotton, acrylic, things that frog easily. If you know a yarn doesn't frog, I would stay away from that until you're a lot more confident with your cable stitches. So these are actually the same pattern. This one is made with a size C hook, which I believe is around about 3mm, and 2 weight yarn, which is 4-ply in the UK. This one was made with 4mm hook, which is a D hook, and 3 weight yarn, which is DK in the UK. You can see this one's slightly different in that I've added a taper and a tassel. I will go through how to do that with you on the video. But as you can see, it's really simple design. The back is definitely the back, so there is most definitely a right side to this, but that's quite nice for a bookmark as well. So every other row in order to get this is just basically a single crochet row. No other stitches to worry about. So when we're looking at cables, we're only working front post, and it's an easy 4-row repeat once you get started. So with that being said, go and grab your hooks and yarn and we'll make some headway. So to start off, you can either foundation single crochet 11 or chain 12. So I'm going to start with the chain. So we'll yarn over and pull our hook through there for 12 stitches. 8, 10, 11, 12. And then we're going to go into the second chain from the hook and single crochet in each chain across. So we're not counting this loop on our hook. So that's the first chain. If you can see that there, this is the first chain. And this is the second chain. So we're just going to work a single crochet. I'll very quickly tell you how to do that, just as a reminder. So we're going to insert our hook into the chain to be worked, yarn over and pull through. So now we have 2 loops on our hook, yarn over and pull through both loops. And we're going to do that in each chain all of the way across. So by the end of this row, you will have 11 single crochets. So that is row 1 completed. Row 2, we're going to chain 1 and turn, and then we're going to single crochet into the first stitch and each stitch across. So by the end of this row, you will have 11 single crochets. And there is row 2 completed. So row 3 is really where it gets interesting, and we have the beginning of a 4-row repeat to make this bookmark. So for row 3, we're going to chain 1 and turn. Now this is where we start to work our actual cables and get lots of that lovely texture that we see. Now it's not as difficult as it looks, but you will need to make sure that you get this row correct. Once it's set up correctly, all the other rows are super easy because you front post double crochet around your front post stitches and you single crochet into your single crochet stitches. So it's not too complicated once this row is set up. It can take a couple of goes because some people find that they either are one stitch short at the end or have one stitch too many, depending on where you place your first front post stitch. So we're going to start with a single crochet into that first stitch, and then we're going to front post double crochet around the next stitch. So if you look at row 1, we will always work our front post stitches 2 rows below. So we're working row 3, so our front post stitches are worked in row 1. If we were working row 9, our front post stitches will be worked into row 7. So there's our first stitch, so that counts for this one because that was the chain start and this was our first stitch. So in the next stitch we're going to front post double crochet. So we'll yarn over and we'll insert our hook from the front to the back and then back out the front of that next stitch to be worked. Now you can see here that the post of that stitch is now sitting on my hook. So we'll yarn over and pull through, so we're left with 3 loops in our hook. Yarn over, pull through 2 loops, so we're left with 2 loops, and yarn over and pull through those 2 loops. And then we're going to single crochet into that next stitch. Now remember, this front post stitch counts as a stitch, so if you need to look at where you've worked to work out where the next stitch is, here was our single crochet, and this one, which is currently looking like it's unworked, was our front post double crochet, so that counts as a stitch. So then we're going to work a single crochet into that next stitch and front post double crochet around the next stitch. So you can see this is our last front post stitch worked. This was effectively the stitch where we did our single crochet, and this stitch here is where we're going to do our next front post double crochet. So we'll yarn over, insert our hook around the post of that stitch from row 1 to be worked, yarn over and pull through, so we've got 3 loops in our hook, yarn over, pull through 2 loops, yarn over, pull through 2 loops. Remember, that stitch counts, so this has effectively been worked, and we're going to single crochet into that next stitch. Now the next stitch is a front post double crochet 2 together. So this is going to be worked over these next 3 stitches. It's a front post stitch, so we're going to be working it across row 1. You can see this is the last post that we've worked, and we've got this single crochet here. Now for the front post double crochet 2 together, we're actually going to do the first leg around this very next post. Because we're using 3 stitches, we need to keep our stitch count correct. So to do that, we're going to yarn over, insert our hook around this next post, so it's right next to the front post that we've just worked, very next stitch, yarn over and pull through, so we've got 3 loops in our hook. Then we're going to yarn over and pull through 2 loops, and then we're going to yarn over and we're going to skip the next stitch from row 1, and we're going to front post into the next stitch. So we're going to insert our hook around the post of that 3rd stitch in this little group of 3, and we'll yarn over and pull through, so we have 4 loops in our hook. yarn over, pull through 2 loops, yarn over and pull through all 3 loops. So you can see, hopefully there, that this has created a little upside down V shape. So this is going to be the bottom of one of our diamonds. Again, this front post double crochet 2 together counts as 1 stitch. So we're going to leave the next stitch from row 2 unworked, and we're going to single crochet into that next stitch. And then we're going to front post double crochet around the very next front post stitch. So you can see this is where the last leg of our front post double crochet 2 together is. This very next stitch from row 1, we're going to work a front post double crochet. And then we will single crochet into that next stitch and front post double crochet into the next stitch. So if you go back to your previous front post that you've worked and you're looking at row 1, we're not working this next single crochet because that's got a single crochet on top of it. We're going to work the next single crochet from row 1. So we'll do a front post double crochet, and then we're just going to work a single crochet into that last stitch. So this is what row 3 is looking like so far. Now from here, every other row is a single crochet row. So we're going to chain 1 and turn, and we're going to single crochet into the top of that first stitch and every stitch across. So by the end of this row you will have 11 single crochets, and I'll meet you when you get to the end of the row. So that's row 4 completed. Row 5, we're going to chain 1 and turn. So we're back on the front side of our work. Now because we've already worked row 3, this is actually becomes fairly straightforward from here. So we're going to single crochet into that first stitch, and then we're going to front post double crochet around that first front post double crochet from row 3. So we'll yarn over, insert our hook around the post of that stitch, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. Remember, this counts as a stitch, so if you look at the row below, you have your single crochet, your front post double crochet, and then we're going to single crochet into that next stitch, and then we will front post double crochet around that next front post double crochet from the previous row, and then we're not going to single crochet in the next stitch. We're actually going to work a front post double crochet V stitch around this front post double crochet 2 together from the previous row. So we'll yarn over, we'll insert our hook under the top of the post for that front post double crochet V. Make sure you're going under both legs, kind of, if you see that. And we'll yarn over and pull through. Then we'll yarn over, pull through 2 loops, yarn over, pull through 2 loops. So that's one part worked. And single crochet into that next stitch, which is the stitch directly above the point on your double crochet 2 together. And then we're going to front post double crochet around this same post that we've just worked from row 3. And that is your front post double crochet V-stitch completed. Then we'll front post double crochet around that next front post stitch from row 3. And we will single crochet into that next stitch. Front post double crochet around that last front post stitch of the row. And single crochet into the last stitch. And that is row 5 completed. So here it looks like we've got an X in the middle. So this is where our diamonds are going to start stacking on top of each other. So row 6, chain 1, turn, and single crochet into that first stitch and every stitch all of the way across. So at the end of this row you will have 11 single crochets, and I'll meet you when you get to the end. So we've got to the end there. We're going to chain 1 and turn for the start of row 7. So row 7 is effectively a repeat of row 3, except we're working into the post stitches rather than into single crochets. So I'll run through the repeat of this bookmark one more time fairly quickly for you so that you can see how it's worked. So we're going to single crochet into the first stitch, and then we're going to front post double crochet around this first front post stitch. Remember that counts as a stitch. So then we'll single crochet into the next stitch and front post double crochet around that next stitch. And then we're going to single crochet into the next stitch, which is effectively the top of that first leg of your double crochet V-stitch from row 5. And then we're going to front post double crochet 2 together using the legs of that V-stitch there. So we'll yarn over, we'll insert our hook around the first post of your V-stitch, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2 loops, and then we're going to yarn over, insert our hook around the post of the second leg of your V-stitch, yarn over and pull through. So now you have 4 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through 2 loops, yarn over, pull through the last 3 loops on your hook. So that is your front post double crochet 2 together completed. Then we're going to single crochet into that next stitch, remembering that that front post double crochet 2 together counts as 1 stitch. Single crochet in that next stitch, and then we're going to front post double crochet around the next front post stitch, single crochet into that next stitch, front post double crochet around that next stitch, and single crochet into that next stitch. And that is row 7 completed, and you can see we're really starting to get that diamond shapes coming out there now. So we're going to chain 1, turn, and single crochet in each stitch all the way across. So at the end of this row you will have 11 single crochets, and I'll meet you when you get there. So that's row 8 completed. Row 9, chain 1, turn. So this is going to be a repeat of row 5. So we will single crochet into that first stitch, front post double crochet around that first front post double crochet of the row, single crochet into that next stitch, and front post double crochet around the front post of 2 rows below. And then we have our front post double crochet V stitch. So we'll yarn over, insert our hook under the top of both of those legs from our front post double crochet 2 together, yarn over and pull through, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, and then we will single crochet into the top of that stitch and front post double crochet around the same stitch that we've just worked that first front post stitch. And then we will front post double crochet around the next stitch, single crochet into that next stitch, front post double crochet around that next stitch, and single crochet into the last stitch of that row. And then chain 1, turn, and single crochet into that first stitch and each stitch across. So at the end of this row you have 11 stitches in total. So this is what it looks like at the end of row 8. So you're literally just going to be repeating the last 4 rows for the duration of your bookmark, just to get that pretty texture in there. So I'll leave you to repeat those 4 rows until your bookmark is 7 inches tall, which for me meant that I repeated those 4 rows 6.5 times in total. If you want a tapered end to your bookmark, make it 6.5 inches tall, and I will come back and show you how to work the taper. So here's my bookmark at approximately 6.5 inches. So I'm going to add the tapered end on now. So to do this, we're going to turn and chain 1 to start. We're going to single crochet 2 together over the first 2 stitches. So to do that, insert your hook into the first stitch, yarn over and pull through, so you've got 2 loops on your hook. Insert your hook into the second stitch, yarn over and pull through, so you have 3 loops on your hook, and then we're going to yarn over and pull through all 3 loops on our hook, and that counts as 1 stitch. And then we're going to single crochet across the next 7 stitches. So 1 single crochet in each of the next 7 stitches, which will leave us with 2 stitches left at the end of the row. And in these last 2 stitches, we're going to single crochet 2 together. So we'll insert our hook into that first stitch to be worked, yarn over and pull through for 2 loops on our hook. Insert our hook into that final stitch, yarn over and pull through for 3 loops on our hook, and then we'll yarn over and pull through all 3 loops. And we're basically going to follow that process till we get to the last 3 stitches. So we'll chain 1, turn, and we're going to single crochet 2 together across the first 2 stitches. So insert your hook into that first stitch, yarn over and pull through, insert your hook into the second stitch, yarn over and pull through, and then yarn over and pull through all 3 loops in our hook. And you can see already that that's creating a tapered edge there. And then we're going to single crochet in each of the next 5 stitches. And then when we get to the last 2 stitches, we're going to single crochet 2 together. So insert your hook into the next stitch, yarn over, pull through. Insert your hook into that final stitch, yarn over and pull through, and then yarn over and pull through all 3 loops on your hook. Then we will turn and chain 1, or chain 1 and turn, whatever you prefer. We're going to single crochet 2 together across the first 2 stitches. So I think you've got how to do that now. And then we're going to single crochet in each of the next 3 stitches. And then for the last 2 stitches, we're going to single crochet 2 together. And then chain 1 and turn. And we're going to single crochet 2 together across the first 2 stitches. Single crochet into that next stitch, and single crochet 2 together across those last 2 stitches. So that's left us with 3 stitches on our taper. So you can see how it's come in and reduced. So then we're going to fasten it off. And the last thing we're going to do here is add a tassel. Now, this is quite handy because you don't actually have to sew in this end. If I grab a small hook, what you could do is just kind of crochet it through to that center stitch. So that's the second of the 3 stitches that we have left. And I have cut 5 sections of yarn that is approximately the same length as my bookmark. So the tassel's really easy. So I have my 5 strips of yarn here. You don't need 5, 4 will give you a nice tassel. If you like a chunkier tassel, by all means add a few. Just remember, the more you add, the trickier it can be to get it to pull through properly all in one go, and you'll see what I mean in a moment. So then we're just going to pick up all of these ends and pop it over our finger like this. Then we're going to, from the front to the back of our bookmark, we're going to take our hook and pull all of those strands through, but not all of the way. So we're creating this loop here. Now, in the center of that loop, we're just going to grab a hold of all of that yarn, including the end, and pull them all through. and tug it tight. And that is our tassel pretty much completed. The only thing left to do is just to trim the ends so that they're a bit neater, and sew in this last end. And then that is your bookmark officially completed. Thank you for joining me today. Please do check out the description below where you'll find the link to the instructions for the free written pattern, which is available on my blog, plus all the links for where you can find me. And if you would like to become a tester for me, there's also a link on how you can do that there too. I do hope you've enjoyed this tutorial today. If so, please feel free to like and subscribe to the channel. And if you want to take your cable skills even further, check out the free Adventure in Cables crochet along that I did not so very long ago with Christine from Ambassador Crochet. All of the sections are still available as free blog posts, and they all have video tutorials to go with them. So hopefully these bookmarks have inspired you on your crochet cable journey. Please tag me on social media if you make any cabled patterns, if you've been inspired by this one. If you've made the bookmark, please do tag me, and I will see you soon. Take care, everybody. Bye.